We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. Hashtag Ruffino's rants around the corner. You know, it's funny. You tell people to be patient, to be patient, to be patient. People overreact about LSU not recruiting inside the state. The season gets here. The recruiting is filled with young men from inside the state of Louisiana. We'll touch on that here tonight a little bit for sure. We'll do the LSU recap and LSU preview. LSU, as you probably already know, beat. Yeah, my voice is still kind of squeaky, guys, from the stupid sinus infection. However, LSU beats New Mexico 38-0. LSU has Auburn this week in a 6 o'clock kickoff, which I know all of you are looking forward to. And LSU, it was announced today, will be playing Tennessee, a top 10 ranked team, in Death Valley next week at 11 a.m. Yikes, man. Gross. Speak about a Ruffino's rants. Absolutely disgusting. Ooey. But, you know, the Florida game was at 11 last year, and everybody packed it out. Sold out crowd. LSU won. Maybe LSU fans will do it again in 2 weeks against Tennessee. So it'll be fun. So recap and a preview into Auburn. Guys, the point spread's moving ever so much. I think LSU's the point spread is LSU maybe 8.5, maybe even trending up closer to 9. Tells you what a lot of people think about LSU and what a lot of people also think about Auburn as that line continues to move. Look, also, I am going to touch on this Kim Mulkey situation. Coach Mulkey gave did a press conference today, and where one of her statements about Brittany Griner, or that lack thereof, I guess I should say, is starting to make the rounds. It's blowing up and going viral on Twitter. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it here today until something makes me. I don't know how to feel about it. I can only say, I know how I personally feel about it, but what do you say to someone who says no comment, essentially? Maybe the way that she handled it wasn't the absolute best. We'll touch on that. I do think that there are some people overreacting, but some people reacting the way that they should be reacting. We'll touch on Kim Mulkey before we get to Carter the Power Bryant. Every single Monday, Carter the Power Bryant joins us here to do a recap of LSU and to do a preview. We'll talk some SEC with him as well. He joins us at 7:30, and if we have time, we'll do an SEC Week 4 recap. Great weekend. Fantastic weekend. Arkansas and A&M, Tennessee and Florida. It was a great weekend. Great weekend. A lot of closer games. Lot closer games than people anticipated. Maybe this transfer portal thing isn't that bad of a deal to start to really even mention. Maybe makes a little bit more parity than some people are used to remembering. Vandy gets over 2.5 wins that they were allotted this season. They're already at 3 wins. Let's see, man. Let's see. All right, let's get to a couple comments, though, before we get started. Jamie Brady says, how about Coach Mulkey kind of called out that reporter in a press conference? What's your name? Where are you from? Yeah, I don't know. Look, I made the executive decision. We have the video. If enough people want me to play the video, I will. Because we have it queued up and ready to go. Jamie, let me respond to that outside the break. Let me just respond to that outside the break. I got to be honest. I don't blame the reporter for asking. Nobody's asked. Nobody has asked. Kim should be a little bit and is a little bit lucky that she hasn't been asked before now, honestly. So, yeah. Devin Stibe says overreaction Monday in the fullest effect. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Mike Smith says LSU is now a 9-point favorite. Yeah, there you go. Delton says, woo! Like his name's Ric Flair. Woo! Y'all hear, man? Woo! My son, every time I hit the woo, he's always going to Ric Flair me back. Ave Man on YouTube says, what do you think about Kim? That's a bad look for her. We'll talk, guys, I promise you, we'll talk about that right at the break. We'll talk about it right at the break. See, I knew that this was going to be the main topic of conversation. We'll talk about it right at the break. Dip says Kim Mulkey ain't worried about Brittany Griner. I'm not going to say that completely. Do you know what to say when a country is in a war with another country and they're trying to get and trade for prisoners and she slips up and says something wrong? There are a lot of factors here. There are a lot of factors. Sometimes silence is golden. The way she reacted to it, though, is not golden, in my opinion. But, guys, and look, fuck it. Poe, let's do this. Let's do this. We'll go ahead and go to the break, okay? Since we want to talk about it so damn bad, let's talk about it. Let's go to the break very quickly. We'll talk about the Kim Mulkey stuff and everything that she said or lack thereof and go from there. We will do the LSU. I'm not staying on this thing long, guys. I promise you that. We will talk about the LSU recap and the preview into Auburn. That'll be next. Everybody do us a favor, though. Everybody do us a favor by hitting a like and share. Share to all those Facebook groups. I got an announcement. You ready? Marvin Mackey. Congratulations, my man. You've won an AYS shirt. Now, nobody go tell Marvin. Nobody go tell Marvin. Pooh Bear, Marvin has shared 12 straight episodes. 12 straight. So, for that reason alone, Marvin Mackey Jr. is going to be our AYS t-shirt winner of last week. So, I want him to come in here and hear it before. So, nobody tell him. Nobody tell him. All right. Everybody on Facebook, do us a favor, hit the like and share. I see so many of you watching this live right now. If you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe, notification bell, share to all those social media platforms. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you're listening to us on XM Radio, TuneIn app, you listen to us on the Apple Podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts, rate, review, subscribe as well. I also dropped a pretty massive recruiting update on the AYS message board, AYSSnetwork.com. Go sign up and subscribe there today. All right, Pooh Bear, let's pay these bills. Then we'll get rolling. None better than their good friends over at GM Varno & Sons and BetOnline.ag. You want to talk about it? You want to talk about Kim Mulkey? Let's do it. Be back in a minute 15. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varnado & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varnado & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. All right, so go harder, go home, says Kim Mulkey yawns, slow topic night. It's not a slow topic night. We got a lot to get into. So, Pooh Bear, I want you to do me a favor. When we get to 3 minutes or 4 minutes from now, I want you to make some kind of noise in the show to let me know we're done with this, okay? Just don't hit me with the pause, because then I'll be wondering why in the hell did I say something like I said Saturday night when I said, and they're coming hard after you? You know, I said coming really with a lot of conviction. Just don't hit me with the pause. Okay. All I'm going to say about this Kim Mulkey situation for right now. If you missed it today, Kim was asked about Brittany Griner. If you don't know what's going on with Brittany Griner, Google it. Your phone is your friend. You're probably watching this episode from your phone. So after the show, go and Google what's happening with Brittany Griner. Bottom line is, there's clearly a rift. Maybe, I don't know. I honestly, guys, have no idea what's going on between Kim Mulkey and Brittany Griner. There is so much going on here to break down. I don't know what's happening. I honestly don't know what's happened in the past. Brittany Griner's a headstrong woman. Kim Mulkey is a headstrong woman. The issues they may or may not have, guys, I honestly don't know. Now, I am on. This is the biggest thing for me. The biggest thing for me is this. I'm surprised it took over a year since Kim Mulkey has been hired and Brittany Griner has been arrested and is in a Russian jail, that it has taken someone this long to ask her. Now, maybe someone has. I don't know. I will also, I have not heard it. Here's another thing. The reporter today at the news conference has never been to an LSU football thing, basketball thing, nothing. To my knowledge, the person asking the question has never been there. Kind of seems a little bit like a trap, doesn't it? So I do see Kim's frustration. I think Kim's a great coach. I do think Kim cares about her players, who are a lot like Brittany Griner in a lot of other ways than one. Basketball players, young women, historically, people that play collegiate athletics come from a situation that's not really great. It's just the truth. The diplomatic things that need to be asked and need to be said in reference to Brittany Griner, I don't know what to do or what to be said. However, I do think Kim maybe had said some things that maybe she would take back. Maybe not. I don't know. Bottom line is I don't know enough at the current moment what did or didn't happen with Brittany Griner and Kim Mulkey for me to come out here and act any kind of way. We don't talk about politics on the show, and you may say, well, Blake's treading lightly. You're damn right. I don't have enough information here. Probably a little bit of my fault that I don't have enough information here. It is what it is. If I wanted to talk politics, I would have started a political podcast. I would have started a political show. Don't care about politics, really. Could care less. My only point is this. Kim could have said no comment and left it there. That's it. How she wants to respond to that type of situation or question is fully up to her. All right, let's go. Pooh Bear, I hope we were under 3 minutes. Right on time. Right on time. JTN says B. Ruffino ain't talking politics, and neither is Mulkey. Smart move. Smart move, and I agree. Yeah, we're not talking about it. Let's talk about LSU. Okay. So, guys, I went back and watched this game, and something that we need to talk about. First off, you want me to get pissed off? Let's get pissed off. Or not pissed off. Let's talk about something. Guys, during the entire summer, there was a situation where a lot of people were worried about LSU in recruiting. Okay. I talked to a couple people this weekend that are on staff, and all I'm going to say is this. If you fully believe that LSU is not doing everything they can and bringing in players from this state to LSU, not only are you an idiot, you're a buffoon. I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. I'm not saying anyone did say it or didn't say it, but guys, there's a lot of kids that they're bringing in. You have guys like Joe Sloan. You have guys like Jamar Cain. You have guys like our coaches like Matt House, Mike Denbrock, all of these guys, all of the Cortez Hankton, Frank Wilson, you name it. I just think it's funny that a lot of this stuff goes unchecked. Okay? When LSU ends up with a top 5 to top 3 recruiting class, I don't want to hear another thing about Brian Kelly. Not another word about Brian Kelly. You better move on from, this one, because just like on the field, I promise you off the field, this staff is just as good as recruiting than we've seen. Was Ed Orgeron a great recruiter? Yes. However, Brian Kelly has a better recruiting staff around him. It's just the God's honest truth. So I'm going to say this today. When LSU ends up with a top 3 recruiting class, Pooh Bear, remind me. We're going to come on this show and we're going to say, na boo boo, as another player decommits from Notre Dame. Na boo boo. Because here come the Tigers. Now, on the field. Guys, I got to be honest. I went back and watched this New Mexico game. And like I said Saturday night, I have absolutely no idea how you can walk out of that game and just not be utterly impressed by what you saw defensively. LSU, for what it's worth, is on a different level defensively that we've seen. Guys, they're top 15 defense right now. And it's not as if in the 4 games that LSU has played that they haven't played really good offenses. Florida State is 4-0, a really good team. Mississippi State puts yards and points on a lot of people. LSU's giving up 12.5 points per game. Now, some people question my math today, but one of the Southern scores was obviously a pick 6 that wasn't given up by the defense. We worried about Corey Raymond leaving. Top 15 in passing defense. Top 15 in points allowed. Guys, Matt House is calling defenses like I don't think that we've seen here in a long time. Really and truthfully, from a schematic standpoint, and I will say this, even more than Dave Aranda, I don't think, and look, former players will say this. Braden Fajoko for sure will. I know Christian Fulton talking to him will. Dave did not completely run his defense here at LSU because Orgeron made him simplify it. Matt House gets to run and call whatever he wants based off of what Brian Kelly has seen in the game plan that they're going after. If you want to talk about a CEO, Brian Kelly has been so far the ultimate CEO. Guys, I have to tell you, And this might be me being a little bit on the honeymoon phase, and it's still going to be a very long season. And Brian Kelly has mentioned that. Aunt March said Patrick Queen also said the same about Dave Aranda, and it's true. Guys, we're gonna lose more games in this season. But my opinion's not going to change. Between these and the people listening on the audio, I'm pointing to the headphones. Your head coach is not going to be outcoached. Do you understand how relieving that is right now? Brian Kelly simply can do just as good, if not better, than 99% of every coach in the country. Matt House, guys, in 4 games, we have not seen the same thing from LSU defensively. Not once. They changed things up after Florida State against Southern. They changed things up against Mississippi State. They changed up the things this past weekend against New Mexico. And I promise you they will change things next week against Auburn. They just will. It is so refreshing to see that. This is what makes me believe that LSU, guys, can get to that 9-3 area, that 9-3 place. Guys, this coaching staff will keep you in a lot of games. We've moaned and complained about I say we. Some have moaned and complained about Jane Daniels. Now, Pooh Bear, I got to think about this a lot Sunday. I mean, a lot. He sat in the pocket all first half. You had 17 points. And by the way, it's not as if New Mexico's defense was as complete crap as their offense was. They were top 50 in the country coming into this week, or last week, I should say. But you bitch and moan about Jaden sitting in the pocket. You bitch and moan when he runs the football. Guys, let Brian Kelly dictate what needs to be done. Because the truth was, on 3rd and 4, when LSU missed a dig route and Malik Neighbors ran the wrong route on the option route, and you have to kick the ball, which, by the way, the field goal was missed, where Jaden had a wide open lane to run and get a first down and potentially a touchdown. What do you want him to do now? Guys, what I'm trying to get at is, and to recap this game, I don't need to break down the plays on this specific game. Guys, you absolutely went out and you obliterated New Mexico. You obliterated New Mexico up and down the field. The point is, and the point that I'm going to continue to push this week, and that gives me a lot of hope, is I don't really remember a coaching staff from top to bottom that you can say that you're this confident in. Guys, there's a lot of good dudes on this staff. You can maybe go 19, but Joe Brady was fired. Ed Orgeron was fired. Dave Aranda left. Bill Bush was fired, technically, I guess you could say. Mickey Joseph was not retained. Coy Raymond, we saw what happened when Dave Aranda left. This DB room fell to shit. And quite honestly, guys, how's it going for everybody at Florida when Hendon Hooker putting up 400 yards and 5 tutties against Coy Raymond's defense? Or DBs, I should say. How much of that was Joe Burrow in 19? And Jamar Chase and Jefferson and all those dudes? Truth is, you have no excuse. Now, I'll get to Father A-Bears. He says, I haven't seen a comment. He says, I haven't seen a DB look confused this season during the play, after play. He's right. He's 1,000% right. Is there going to be confusion offensively? Yes. They're getting better. My point is from snap one, game one, to right now, guys, the only thing that LSU has done is gotten better. And I think that I can make the argument that if LSU plays Florida State in week 2, you're looking at a 4-0 football team. But woulda, coulda, shoulda doesn't cut it in the real world. LSU's not. Florida State is. And that loss doesn't look as bad as it did, does it? No, it doesn't. Now, Florida State's got a humongous game this weekend against Wake Forest, who lost to Clemson in overtime. Let's see if they can actually bust a grape here. But you did, and LSU did defensively what they should have. Offensively, in the second half, what they should have. Now, the only complaint of this game that I have, literally the only one, the only thing that I can remotely find that's even remotely an issue, guys, you got to start off faster. This offense has to start off faster with more I don't want to say energy. I don't think energy is the right word. They had to start off with more, I don't know, Pooh. What's a good word here? Sense of urgency. They got to start off with more of a sense of urgency here. Because let me tell you this, in 2 weeks, you're going to get to a point and a team in Tennessee that if you're not hitting off and hitting cylinders early and you get behind, it's going to be hell to play catch up. So let's start talking about Auburn. There's not a lot we can recap about New Mexico. You did what you were supposed to. Guys, the number one goal this week, the number one thing this week for me, go out there with a sense of urgency and start dominating. Offensive line's getting a lot better, isn't it? It is so crazy. They're not. It's so crazy how much good coaching can impact. Guys, I told you this, I think during the offseason. Let me get to this very quickly. Pooh Bear's betting tip of the night, LSU Auburn spread is up to 8. If you're going with LSU, catch it before it hits double digits. Ain't that the truth? I like that, Pooh. Let's do that every night. Put in one of those every night. Pooh Bear's bet tip of the show. Write that down. The point is this. LSU's got to start off with a sense of urgency this week offensively. Guys, Auburn is a dumpster fire. You know, Bryant Driscoll said that LSU was. Auburn, it was literally a yard away and a 26-yard field goal away from their head coach, Brian Harsin, being fired. Now, wouldn't it be ironic, and I think Pooh Bear said this to me either after the game or before, I don't know when Pooh Bear said this to me. Wouldn't it be ironic if LSU goes into Auburn and beats them and Brian Harsin is fired after 6 years ago? Les Miles was fired after DJ Chark can't come in, or he did come in bounds, but the procedural penalty. Irony. It's what makes college football the best, man. It's what makes college football the best. But here's the God's honest truth. Auburn doesn't have a better O-line than you. They don't have a better quarterback than you. They have a better running back core than you do. They do. They don't have a better wide receivers. They don't have the better D-line. They don't have the better linebackers. They don't have the better secondary. Now, I will say this. Auburn's defense can bust a grape now. Penn State broke that game wide open in the second half because their offense's inability to do a damn thing was horrendous. They got dudes on that defensive line. If there's a worry, let's see how Emory Jones and Will Campbell stand up to big, legitimately very massive human beings that Auburn has on this defensive line. Guys, they got dudes in that front seven. Let's see if LSU can go into Auburn like what Penn State did and start clapping some cheeks. Let's see if they can do that. Again, you should be able to waltz into Auburn and clap those cheeks. Now, for all of the LSU players, all of those LSU players, and I agree with Ant Marshall here saying Penn State dominated Auburn in the trenches. LSU should do the same. 1,000%. 1,000%. Let me just say this, and this is for everybody that was on this team a season ago. Guys like Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Who? Guys like Charles Turner. Guys like Garrett Dowlinger. Guys on the defense like B.J. Ojolari, Jaquelin Roy, Jay Ward, so many others. This is a revenge game. Bo Nix came into Baton Rouge last year and did things that Bo Nix has no business doing. You've lost to Auburn the last 2 seasons. One of those games, we got our asses torn up. The second one are the inability of our coaching staff to put a remote game plan together. Lost you that game. It is time to go into Jordan-Hare and absolutely smoke some fools. I'm talking about when you get off the bus with a pissed off attitude. If this game's a rivalry game, they call it the Tiger Bowl. If I'm on that team the last 2 seasons, like I said, guys like Jay Ward, guys like Jeray Jenkins, guys like Kayshawn Booty, I'm getting off that bus pissed off. There's no way in shit and shinola that you allow any human being to come in your house and literally run circles around everywhere and make plays. Now, I get Bo Nix isn't there. I get it. The legend and the ghost of Bo Nix will live on in Death Valley until you can go into the plains and clap some War Eagle cheeks. I will tell you something that I have not told anybody. Not my wife, not my son, not Pooh Bear, not Zach, which everybody keep Zach in your thoughts and prayers. Feeling a little bit under the weather. Let's hope he gets better. I ain't told Carter. I ain't told my priest. Nobody. I want this game bad. Go out there and clap those fucking cheeks. I said it. You do not allow Auburn to do what they've done to you the last 2 years. That is unacceptable. Time to go whip some ass. Let's go. Carter the Power Bryant next. We return in 45 seconds after our word from Gramco. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. Carter the Power Bryant is joining us. What's up, buddy?
What's up, baby? Feeling great after a complete team win. There's nothing like seeing a goose egg on the scoreboard. There's something very aesthetically pleasing about that. But as we were discussing earlier, Blake, we and I brought this up before on your show, and I bring it up all the time on PHL. Sometimes it's not if you win, it's how you win. And
Agreed.
The way LSU won versus New Mexico, yes, New Mexico had some really bad fourth down punts. Yes, their offense is abysmal, but the difference was how they won. And in the game, I'm sure you saw it. A lot of people saw it. I've gotten a lot of feedback on it. I did an hour-long film study on Jaden Daniels last week, and I looked at every throw he made his final year at Arizona State. And I looked at every interception he's made up to this point in his career. And one thing about his 10 interceptions last year, Blake, is 8-ish. I say ish because it just depends on, where it is on the field exactly, which hash it's on. But 8 of the interceptions were on in-breaking routes over the middle of the field. And up to this point in the season versus New Mexico, he was avoiding tough throws over the middle. But what did Brian Kelly say in the press conference today? The very astute Brian Kelly. What impressed him the most was the throw to Jeray Jenkins on his 4th progression over the middle, which is
wow.
Which
he can read progressions?
He can read progressions.
I've always said
it's crazy. I've always said this about Jaden, right? There's a difference between not being able to read a defense, but actually going through and ripping that son of a gun. And on that throw to Jeray, he had a check down to Armani Goodwin that he could have made, which would have been the safer throw, would have made it a more manageable field goal. Armani might have been able to pick up the first down, but no, he took a chance. And that is what I've been begging him to do. Take a chance. Try to see if you can, if you think you have the confidence to fit the football in a tight window. And look, no one's going to mistake him for Justin Herbert. No one's going to mistake him for Joe Burrow or anything like that. But the ball was a laser over the fingernail of the linebacker, and that showed me something. So once again, I understand it was a level of competition. I understand that New Mexico isn't Auburn. New Mexico isn't any of these SEC teams that LSU has coming up. But it was the willingness to do something that he did not willingly do in the first couple of games, which is throw over the middle of the field. Did you know the deep ball to Chris Hilton was the first throw that Jaden Daniels threw between the hashes over the middle of the field of 20 yards or more? And
to rudely interrupt you, Chris Hilton said his favorite route on this show, that his favorite route that he had with Jaden was the post route too.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I understand it's New Mexico, but if you're throwing the football into traffic, I don't care if it's 8th graders. It's a difficult throw.
I agree.
A lot of quarterbacks have anxiety throwing over the middle, and I totally get it. There's defensive linemen that could tip the ball up and intercept it. There could be a drop from the receiver, and if you play DB, you know this. There's a thing called tip drill. If you throw in the middle, it could tip, and there's safeties right there waiting for it to pick it off. It takes something. And the fact that he threw over the middle in this game showed me something, and it's something else that defensive coordinators have to worry about. So understand, I'm not saying Jaden's the next great thing. I'm not saying Jaden is the unbelievable, but this was undoubtedly a big step forward for him as a quarterback, whether he was playing for LSU or whether he was playing still for Arizona State, and that's pretty big.
2 major things. Number one, he's getting protection.
Yes.
Okay. He does. Carter, here's my God's honest opinion. I don't think he wants to run. But if he gets spooked, he's like a deer in the headlights. Deer are fast. Okay? There's a reason nobody catches them in the woods because they're that fast. Okay? Here's the second thing. And look, me and you could say this because I think me and you can connect to this level. Maybe some people were a little tipsy at 6 o'clock. Yeah. And they don't remember this. The dig route that Malik Neighbors should have run in the end zone when he ran the corner.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a missed touchdown.
Yeah.
Malik comes off the sidelines, and you see Cortez Hankton and Brian Kelly like, oh, my God, it was there.
It was there. Huh?
Even in the miss, it tells you more about the fixable. I would rather you have the mistake against New Mexico. Carter, they're going to come back to that play in the red zone this weekend. I guarantee it.
I love it.
Here's the thing, though, and I want your thoughts on this because the offense. Look, Carter, and we'll get on the defense.
Yeah,
but this offense did not have a sense of urgency to come out. What was the difference of why they didn't have the sense of urgency? In my opinion, it was that Jaden was sitting in the pocket more and not playing his game.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, look at that man sit in the pocket and throw the ball. Well, you're going to have to live with not only scoring 17 points and a half.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts of why in your film study they didn't have this sense of urgency to start off?
Yeah. So look, they were a little bit more methodical, right? And, I had this question brought up as well. Why are we throwing so many balls like just short to the outside? Well, if their corners are playing off, you just got to take it. That's what you got to do. That's something we didn't do.
Brian Kelly said today, to your point,
yeah,
he said it was the exact game plan. He wanted his guys to get work.
That's it. Correct. You got to play pitch and catch, and it sucks. It's not aesthetically pleasing to watch, but that's what teams do now. Russell Wilson's struggling with this in the NFL.
Is he a bad quarterback?
Well, he's bad right now, but overall,
but he's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
But he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and this is what they're doing. They're taking, and this is what the book was on LSU. They're not going to let Jaden throw deep. Like the Chris Hilton throw was just a really well-designed throw, and we hit him on first down. That obviously shocked them a little bit, but it's hard to throw deep against teams that, and Mississippi State did this, that are playing their corner 7 yards off every single snap. You've got to play pitch and catch. It sucks. It's not fun to watch. You got to be really patient. And LSU did that. Not only did Jaden do that, freaking Nussmeier did it too. And Nuss played within himself, and he didn't. You see what happens when you throw quick and you just take what the defense gives you. You don't, he played from the pocket as well. That was a big step forward for him as well. Take what the defense could give you. And who knows, Brian Thomas can do a BTJ thing and break a ton of tackles like he did. Also, LSU put in something very interesting. Okay.
Here we go. Here comes the good part.
Okay. So it is a little technical, but they ran my favorite play. All right. It's called Hoss.
Spider 2 Y banana.
Well, what's interesting about this play is like, it's kind of the opposite of Spider 2 Y banana. It is Hoss Juke. Hoss Juke is my favorite play. Right. What
is Hoss Juke?
Hoss Juke. Hoss Juke. And you go to my Twitter page at Power Hour LSU and you can see a breakdown of it. It's Josh McDaniels' favorite play. And he's won a lot of Super Bowls with the Patriots doing this. It's 2 goes from the slots and comeback routes on the outside. And the play is designed to get a one-on-one matchup over the middle of the field with Jack Besh going up against a linebacker.
Correct.
And we had Hoss Juke on 2 out of 3 times. Jaden missed him one time in the second half. You forgive it. But it's like a little 10-yard play. It's not like a big play, but it's an easy completion. Now, here's the hard part about Hoss Juke. It's a play that works a lot, right, against zone and man. That's the one thing a lot of play callers like about it. The issue is that you got to run 5-man protection. And you can't run 5-man protection unless you have a good offensive line.
When they send 7.
When they send 7, or if you have a weak link on the offensive line. And the simple truth is this. And look, this is going to come off as confirming my priors or whatever. Emory Jones is just a very special football player. And him and Will Campbell are playing at an extremely high level for true freshmen. And if you run these 5-man protections, Hoss Juke's a quicker play, but it is a little bit of a longer developing because there's an option for Jack Besh to choose which way he wants to go. You got to be able to protect it. And LSU's offensive line, Blake, they passed off twist stunts a lot better this game. They communicated well.
Oh, they were flawless. Flawless.
They played really well. They played really, really, really well. There's some things that I think schematically Auburn's going to do that's going to give us some issues.
Agreed.
Won't get too much into that. Derek Hall, 29, is one of the best players in the SEC. He tore us up last year.
And
but
Pompey.
Yeah. Owen Papo. Yeah, Owen Papo. Yeah.
Whatever his name.
Owen Papo can play. But Hoss Juke is my favorite play in the playbook, right? you gotta have beaters though. You gotta have guys that can go out there and make plays for that to work. And look, I feel as if the LSU offense took a step forward. It could be me completely overreacting to the New Mexico game. And Blake, you know me, I don't overreact to non-Power 5 games all that much. But there was a lot of little things that I saw that proved that LSU was starting to come together as a team, and they just look better. They're getting better, and that's what Brian Kelly is supposed to do. If you're getting a $10 million salary, you built the staff to get this team better each and every week. And right now, as an LSU fan, whether or not you beat Auburn, whether or not you beat Tennessee, what your record's going to be over the next few weeks, at least I know that this team is getting better, and a lot of it is because of the young talent.
Before we get to the defensive side of the ball, which I'm sure we'll spend a lot of our time on, Carter, even in 19, I don't remember feeling this great about a coaching staff. It's a very loaded question. Do you feel some of the same things? Because, Carter, the way that I feel at the current moment, when I watch the All-22 or I watch the games back again, schematically, does LSU do everything perfect? No. But God damn it, do they do it a lot right? Okay. Yeah. Your thoughts on this coaching staff so far? Because, be honest, man, I've been impressed.
Yeah, I think, the best coach in the SEC, the best assistant in the SEC has been Matt House these last few weeks, right?
Without a question.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a case for a lot of people. They've had really good weeks. But Matt has been the biggest surprise here, and he's really exceeded my expectations. He's done a lot of things really well, but any defensive coordinator will tell you it's all about the players over the plays, right? And once again, it's just going to be a weekly segment with you. I mean, it is a weekly segment, but it's every week you talk about Harold Perkins. He had a better game in this game than he did versus Mississippi State, and he did everything under the sun versus Mississippi State. The New Mexico game from Harold Perkins was nothing short of incredible, Blake. His spatial awareness, his football IQ, his speed, his balance. You can cut block him, it doesn't work. You try and seal him to the inside when he's the outside backer, it doesn't work. LSU came out in essentially a base 4-3 to start the game, but the third linebacker was Harold Perkins. Is he really a linebacker? No, he's like a nickel hybrid alien.
So very quickly,
yeah,
they didn't run a version of the 4-3 this weekend. I don't think people understand what Harold Perkins was playing. It was a big nickel package. Yeah. It's all that it was. And the truth was he was running with wide receivers. That's the bottom line.
It's unreal. He's changed a lot. And I cannot state this enough. The one thing about the LSU defense over the past couple of years, outside of running the same play every time, is that they were static running the same play every time. And they got better simply because they did things differently. That was the only reason they got better, right? They lost a lot of talent, but they got better because they just started mixing things up. Matt is mixing a lot of things up with his actual specific play calls. But what makes defenses truly special, Blake, is when players allow you to mix things up. And just Harold Perkins being on the field, you don't know where he's going to be. You don't know. And that sucks. Blake, you played the offensive line. You know how much communication there is. You know, you got to identify who's coming from where. If number 40 is on the field, you don't know. You don't know where he's going to come from. So that's what truly makes him transcendent. So you give Matt House a lot of credit, but kind of like the way Emory Jones has revitalized the LSU offense, Harold Perkins has done the same for the defense as well.
Let's stay there. I know you just talked about Harold Perkins, so let's go defensively. Carter, I'm not going to say they're elite. I think that they're really good. Here's the truth. They've played two really, really good teams. I still think Mississippi State's a really good team.
Yeah.
I still think Florida State's a really good team. Carter, they're 4-0. And they got to get big game this week against Wake Forest. 12.5 points per game given up. Top 15 in passing defense. You talk about Matt House, but let me ask you this. Now, we play Auburn, obviously, this week. But let's combine these two next games for LSU and Auburn and Tennessee. Does it give you more hope that you could win these next two, obviously, do you feel that you feel better now than maybe you did in the beginning of the season that you can win these next two games?
Everything always gets weird at Jordan Hare. We know that, right? So, that's always a factor. Blake, I watched the full Auburn game. I'm sure you did. That was a really bad football team.
And they're really badly coached.
They're poorly coached. Harson's in over his head. And, I've gotten a lot of heat, with the SEC channel I launched, how much I hated Harsin. I just think he's bad. I don't know what he does well. I just don't. And the scary thing about it is Auburn does have a lot of talent. They have the best running back.
Some talent defensively, Carter. I said that earlier. They got
Papo and Hall are good football players. Now, they lost a lot in the secondary with Smoke Monday, but still, they're good football players.
Donovan Kaufman.
Yeah, from New Orleans. And now on the offensive side of the football, Blake, is where they're bad. They're bad. They're just bad. Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter, they're as good of a 1-2 combo as you're going to see. Tank especially. Tank's playing really well. Their offensive lines are worse than the SEC. Their wide receiver room is probably worse than the SEC. Coy Moore's their best receiver right now.
Went off last week.
He looked really good. But Coy's their best receiver. He was wide receiver. He would have been wide receiver 7 on this roster.
Carter, that's being generous.
It's being generous. But that's more saying the LSU wide receiver room is good. Coy was a good player, and he had a really good game last week. They're just not a good football team, Blake. They're just not. Like Carlson's having a bad year as their field goal kicker. Their special teams is rough. And they looked really bad. Like, to the Jaden skeptics, Robbie Ashford is who a lot of people thought Jaden Daniels was. Robbie Ashford cannot throw at all. He cannot throw a forward pass at all. It's really, really, really bad. So, for me, Blake, this should be a game that LSU is able to take care of, but it is in the Plains. They did win last week, and that was the luckiest win I've ever seen an SEC team have. In all my years of watching the SEC, that was the luckiest win. Missouri missed a chip shot field goal for the win. Okay. Then Auburn missed a field goal in overtime. Missouri was offsides. They got to re-kick it. They made the re-kick, and Missouri was running in for the game-winning touchdown in the first overtime. And he when he was reaching for the pylon, he dropped it on his own volition. He wasn't hit. He just dropped it, and it was a touchback. Auburn's not a good team. That I feel like they've lost the locker room. And it's like people forget that their defensive coordinator, Derek Mason, left for a job at Oklahoma State.
I wanted Derek Mason as the DC here. Honestly.
Yeah, he was a great DC. And I have no idea how people did not, sound the alarm on Brian Harsin. And they tried to, and that was a whole ordeal. So LSU should take care of business. Now, the Tennessee game, Blake, we'll talk more about it next week. I hate that matchup. I think Tennessee is just special. I really do. Their defense is horrible, but Hendon Hooker had a Burrow game last week. And I know, come after me all you want. Go watch him last week. That was the best quarterback performance of the season in the SEC. He was nothing short of phenomenal. With an awful defense, he put the team on his back while he was hurt and carried that team.
That's true now.
I understand. I'll probably lose subscribers for that. He played at that level. And, you could say the same for Jordan Travis. Sometimes,
he put the team on his back. It's just the bottom line.
Sometimes when a quarterback's making big-time throws, like, for instance, now
that we went across the middle on 3rd and 13 to get the first down and go down and score and seal it, Carter, bottom line, that's more than an NFL throw.
Yeah.
That is a Pro Bowler throw.
It is.
That's a top 100 player in the NFL throw because he got hit in the chest and he just – but I will say this now. He's due. He's due to throw some picks. He's due.
He's due. And this will be the best defense he's played.
Brother, when Matt House's cats run wild on you. That's all I'm going to say, brother.
I think I think Hendon Hooker is really good.
First round quarterback in your opinion?
I don't think so, because a lot of people in the coaching community view that Tennessee offense as very,
Gimmicky?
very gimmicky. It's so a lot of coaches are very concerned about that compared to like a Bryce. Yeah, but the way Hooker played last week versus Florida was unfreaking real. There's a handful of quarterbacks that would have played as well as he did in that similar scenario, and he was without his best receiver as well. So
both of them. Remember, one of the receivers went out in the first quarter and didn't return until midway through the third. So I mean,
he was great. He was great.
Let me ask you this. So look, obviously you think the LSU. I'm going to tell you this, Carter. I'm kind of pissed off in a way. I don't like Auburn beating us the way they did the last 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
It's a business trip. Here's the truth. It's probably going to be raining. You got the hurricane coming through. It's time to impose your fucking will. I'm sorry to say it like that. It just is. I want people. I want their heads on a spike like my name is Jon Snow. You understand what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Heads on spike. These are the kind of games, Carter, that when I was playing, nobody's look underneath the pile. You better guard your junk. This is what it is, dog.
Oh,
man. You want to. I'm telling you, you don't come in here and run around. I'm just telling you. Go ahead.
No, I never thought you would do a self pause.
Oh, I do self pauses all the time. Only the reason because I hear Pooh Bear in my head. Pause. Hit the cue, Pooh. This is what I hear 24/7 when I hear something that I say really bad.
Pause.
That's pretty much what I hear all the time. So, Carter, let me tell you something. Saturday night during the post game, I said something to the effect of like, and we're coming down hard on you. And I just saw the big wide eyes of Pooh just light up, and I was like, God damn it. I said that with a lot of conviction, didn't I?
I love it. I love a good pause reference. I do.
All right. Let me ask you this. Just around the SEC, and let's get you out of here.
Yeah,
we'll use our segment with you, if you don't mind, to go around the SEC, and we'll get on out of here.
I'm here for you.
Kentucky Ole Miss this week.
Yeah.
I'm taking Kentucky. I think Ole Miss is a little soft in the interior on both sides, which I think bodes well for Kentucky. I don't know, though. Will Levis is playing at a high level, it seems, to some extent. But I don't know. Carter, I can't pick fully go conviction on Kentucky because the man puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Will Levis does. I'm out on that. However, I gotta lean Kentucky here. What do you think?
I am as well, just because I've not watched much Ole Miss, because what can happen.
Neither has Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've had the softest SEC West start to a schedule I've ever seen, ever. I mean, Georgia Tech's been the only Power 5 team they've had on their schedule.
Coach just got fired.
Yeah, they're bad. They're just bad.
Shout out to Jeff Collins. I've known Jeff for, I guess, 8 years. I love me some Jeff Collins, but anyway.
Yeah, he's getting 11 million, so he's fine. But
hey, and his AD's getting 16 million.
Hey, to the bank, baby. But look, I like Kentucky as well, just because there's just nothing about Ole Miss that there's just nobody that they played up to this point, but they do look good, right? Zach Evans is a monster.
He is.
And Jackson Dart's running the offense. So I've not watched much of the Lane Train because, if you watch highlights, and that's why I go back to like the LSU New Mexico thing, you don't want to take too much away from when you play a bad team, but you want to, take away new concepts, new ideas, players trying new things. I am going to lean Kentucky in this one as well.
All right. I want to get to Arkansas last. Obviously they're got Alabama this week.
Yeah.
I want to go to A&M. Okay. I know Max Johnson's not going to get drafted. I get he's not the best quarterback of all time. However, it does seem that he gives A&M a calming presence that they haven't had. The thing with A&M, though, Carter, that defense that they have is legit. They
Yeah.
are for real. You know, guys, they legitimately are knocking everybody's mouthpieces out. I guess when you look, and Jimbo's is so bad at calling offenses, I
Yeah.
think kind of bodes well a little bit for Max. He's not doing too much. When you watch the game against Arkansas this past week, what do you think of the Aggies?
Yeah, Jimbo called another rough game, and a lot of it was Max just making whirling Derbyshire kind of plays.
Carter,
Max made a
I got
lot of
ripped on
plays.
Twitters. I got ripped on Twitter for this, and so let me just defend myself. He had a run where he broke 7 tackles and got a first down that gave him the go-ahead score. So don't tell me that I can't say, wow, Max just broke 7 tackles when LSU's at halftime and me not freak out a little bit. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so Arkansas's got the worst defense in the West right now, so that's part of it as well. But Max made a lot of special plays in that game. He just did. He I mean, it was Florida level some of the plays that he made, as in Florida 2020. Well, last year as well, he played well, but he was really good for them. There's just no other way around it. You know, obviously Antonio Johnson and that A&M defense, as you mentioned, was really good. Yeah, Mississippi State this weekend. I just think A&M's got the better roster. They got some momentum right now. And look, you know, you look at what A&M did defensively. They had the lucky but amazing 99-yard fumble recovery in that game, and they've won 2 in a row now. And I think they'll take care of business. But once again, this is a true road game for Jimbo Fisher. His play calling on the road is even worse than what it is at home, and proved it again this past weekend. Against a bad defense, and Mississippi State's defense is better than Arkansas. So I think this game is going to be clunky like every A&M game is going to be, but I do like the Aggies by a little.
Let's go to your Arkansas Razorbacks. Not a lot really going. We talked about Tennessee. We talked about Florida a little bit, but I want to end it here with you with Arkansas. Now, what people don't know is you're from the great state of Arkansas. Beautiful, beautiful state. Really, I do mean that from my heart. Man, are they bad defensively?
They're bad. Yeah.
They're very bad. The one bright spot that they have, Landon Jackson had a sack. Drew Sanders is all over the place. But outside of that, Carter, they're not good at all.
Yeah.
They have Alabama this week, and I think it's about to get really bad. Just because they're not going to be able to stop Bama. What do you think?
Yeah, Bama's just a better team. And look, you might get Alabama in a bad spot, but, you know, this game is in Fayetteville. So a lot of people were, you know, really hyping this up. They thought game day was going to be coming to Fayetteville. They're not. That would have been the first time for them since 2007. So, yeah, you know, obviously.
That wouldn't have been the LSU game. The LSU game was at home. Who did they play in 2007?
It was Tennessee. So that was
okay.
Yeah,
Philip Fulmer's like last year.
Yeah, so it was like McFadden and those guys, and but look, they actually that was 06 or 07. I don't remember. Either way, you know, a lot of Arkansas fans were really looking forward to this game, but the A&M game just deflated them. You know, you lose on a 99-yard fumble recovery early in that game that went for a touchdown, and then you lose on a field goal that was as close of a field goal miss as it couldn't have been closer. You can't be any closer for miss. They're deflated. They're a little banged up. But if you got KJ Jefferson on your team, you always got a chance, except when you play Alabama, a team that Arkansas just really hasn't played close at all. So I am going to roll with the Tide here. I don't think Arkansas is going to keep it close either. With that said, if the Alabama wide receivers can't get open on the Arkansas secondary, you should start feeling a lot better about LSU coming off a bye, going up against Alabama later in the year.
All right, I lied. Last one.
No, go ahead, man.
I think Billy Napier is in over his head calling plays offensively.
I thought Billy called a good game. He was aggressive on fourth, which was big. Offensively,
he kicks field goal. He kicks extra points and field goals. He wins. If Anthony Richardson doesn't bail him out on scramble runs, he's in trouble. Carter, you can't. How do I want to say this? I want to be careful here. I'm not going to say.
No, say what you're going to say, man.
what he calls passing downs and passing plays, I honestly feel is high schoolish.
Here's what I'll say about that.
I'm not a fan of it.
I'm just not a fan of head coaches calling the plays. I'm just not. Like it's a little bit different with like Tennessee's offense because it is a little bit more structured, right? It does go faster, if you will. I think it is a little bit of a simpler offense.
Oh no, I agree with that.
Yeah. So for me, like I just don't like my head coach, especially at a university like Florida, calling the plays as well. I think that kind of affected him at the end of UL as well. I mean, there was just so much stuff that you have to do as a head coach. I'm just never a fan of a head coach calling plays. So I'll go back and
do it like Andy Reid.
Yeah, like have someone that knows.
Andy's calling the plays, but he's highly invested.
Yeah,
but Andy could do other things if he needs to.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like for me, I thought Napier called a fine game versus Tennessee. I guess I'd have to go back and rewatch it. You're making me rethink it. But for me,
Carter, it's not the running game that bothers me. The schematics offensively in the run game are NFL level.
Right.
Okay? The way that they get to the second level, those Sayers, Torrance, and those dudes is second level. The schematics on the Tennessee's back end secondary is cheeks.
Never
when they run up against a team, aka Georgia, aka LSU, that has a pulse within the DB room, they're in trouble. They can't get separation a lot of times. Just some of the things that I think that they're doing offensively in the pass game, you're running dual wheel routes. Carter, they had 4 plays when they were dual wheel routes.
Oh, where one guy goes and then someone goes right behind him. Yeah,
right behind him. And then they would go split back and run dual wheels and have 2 slants.
I need to go rewatch this.
Yeah, go rewatch it.
I want to rewatch it.
It looks like their passing concepts are drawn in crayon.
Here's my thing.
Probably what Dan Mullen ate for snacks.
Here's my thing. I don't dislike Bill. I mean, I like Billy. Like I want to believe he's actually calling good plays. So I might be. I don't know Billy. I don't know. I've just always kind of pulled for him. I've always kind of
Glenn Gilbo of play calling.
Oh wow.
He asked for it. He asked for it.
I don't know what's going on with that. I'm still trying to figure out why he's so enamored by Billy. Like I like Billy. I whatever he does at Florida. I don't like Florida, obviously. But yeah, I don't understand Gilbo's love with Billy. I don't get it. Why does he like him so much? I don't know. I've always found it weird, like what some of the bigger media members kind of just. I guess it's just a narrative that they want to dig their heels and they know it'll generate interest. I've never understood that. Like, there's guys that I just don't like. Like, I mean, I just don't like Jimbo. Like, I just don't. I've just never just.
It's a Velcro hat, isn't it?
It's that, and a lot of how I felt about Jimbo changed after the end of the 2018 debacle. That kind of changed the end of the 7 overtime game. That kind of personally affected me. I don't know what it was about that brawl and that ending. I was like, I just can't like Jimbo anymore. Obviously, he won a national championship with us. I'll always like Jimbo for that. But the end of that 2018 game with the punches and it was just a mess. So, but yeah, look at the SEC right now, though, Blake. Like, before the season, I was saying Tennessee's going to win the East, and they look really good right now. They do. But the truth is, Georgia's look better than I thought.
They're more complete. Georgia's more complete.
Way more complete. But I'm not going to walk back a prediction. So I'm going to stay. I'm going to dig my heels into the Tennessee winning the East prediction, and we'll see them bright and early, 11 a.m. I'm fine with the morning kickoff every now and then, Blake.
Boo! Boo this man.
Hear me? Okay. All right. Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm releasing a podcast on this.
Oh, tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes.
Throw them. Okay. I'm releasing a podcast on this tomorrow about the 11 a.m. debacle. Okay. I want you, Blake, right now. How many times has LSU played an 11 a.m. game since 2018? Just total.
6.
Okay.
They're 6-0.
They've won all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first real egregious.
Did you just try to LSU trivia me? Hold on, back up.
No, I wasn't. I was going to give everybody a chance to answer it themselves.
My bad. Did I ruin it?
No, it's fine. It's fine. 6 times. 6 times. There's roughly 2 or 3 SEC 11 a.m. games that are played every week. Okay, 6 times since 2018 we've had to play in the 40+ games, and only a few of those were at home. Utah State in 2019. Well, it was Utah State. We beat the crap out of them. Last year,
Missouri was not technically. I don't take Missouri because of the hurricane.
And then Florida last year. The only reason that was an 11 a.m. game is because Mullen and Orgeron ran their programs into the ground. So we have been very.
I just heard your fiance in the background. She said, "Yep, that's true."
I told you. And the truth is, we have been very lucky. This is the first egregious 11 a.m. kick that we have had in I think since 2011 Kentucky, when we had a national championship level team. We had to play an 11 a.m. game then. We've been very lucky with this. And I feel bad for the Tennessee fans that, won't get to experience Death Valley at night or whatever. But we have 2 more games at home against marquee opponents that will more than likely be afternoon or night games. So one 11 a.m. game at home, yeah, it sucks. I prefer it to be at night. But, it's
Do you
fine.
even drink, bro?
I do. I love a good fruity alcoholic beverage.
Of course you do, smoothie.
Everybody. Okay, exactly. Everybody always gets on me for my fruity alcohol intake. I don't want bitter.
You need to leave.
Bring it. You gotta leave. Bring it on.
Hey, now this girl Jenna on Saturdays who does our Believe SEC drinks, she gave us this like raspberry iced tea, and I gotta be honest. I was like, you know what, man? This is going to be so fruity. Dog, ask Pooh Bear, I was gone.
Jenna.
Saturday night at 9:30, I was gone, bro. I was in here MFing everybody. Oh, we scored? Who gives a No, it wasn't. But I like me a little. I can't put the umbrella in the drink. That's my only thing.
You gotta have fruit and alcohol. Every alcoholic beverage that has fruit in it is going to be good.
Ken Mallory said lemony twang shots.
You gotta love it, man. Ken, that's my guy right there. I've never met Ken before, but he's on the beach. Cowboys. But look at this. Put Ken's photo back up there. Look at him, hanging out at the beach. Look at that.
I mean, well, first off, all pause. But my man's got traps. You better be careful about what you're about to say.
No, I mean. Those are some James Stampley.
His traps are taller than Glenn Gilbo. Speaking of Glenn.
No, but fruity alcohol is fine. It's the best, honestly. And an occasional 11 a.m. kick is not bad. And an occasional 11 a.m. kick is not the end of the world. Okay. Boo. Come after me. That's fine.
All right. Guys, we'll go ahead and get on out of here. We'll end it right here with Carter the Power Bryant. We will see y'all again tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Oh, he left.